In this video, I'll be experimenting with one abstract painting over a couple of days where I continue to play with the thought, what if? Hey everybody, it's Chris Loud. I typically show demos of 15 to 20 minute warm-up paintings and challenges, but I thought I would share a video where I play on a 16 by 20 inch canvas during short painting sessions over a couple of days. I'm going to start by putting down some shapes with charcoal. And for the most part, I will try and keep those shapes while I play with color, texture, contrast, and some slight variations in composition. There are several places in this video where I could have stopped, where I really liked what I was seeing, but that wasn't the point for this exercise. Plus, since I was recording this, I knew I could go back and reestablish previous versions of the painting or do whole separate paintings based on that if I really wanted to. At the end of the video, I'll show you what the painting looked like when I stopped, but I do plan on revisiting this painting in about a week to look at it with fresh eyes and decide what I want to do to finish it. Maybe I'll think it's done, or maybe I'll make some adjustments. If you want to see how this ends up, I'll post it on Instagram when I'm done with it. And let me know in the comments if you think the painting at the end is done, if I should keep working on it, or if I should go backwards to a version earlier in the video. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. So at this point, I'm just kind of getting going, making some marks, putting a little bit of paint down, some charcoal, and like I said, kind of working these shapes just a little bit. And these are shapes that like I said, I'm going to continue to keep in my mind throughout the painting, knowing that I can obviously change those at any point if I wanted to, but I thought I would keep those as kind of that those central shapes to try and establish this painting and keep that direction. But again, knowing full well that I could completely change it if I wanted to, if that if the thought of what if I made this into a square, or what if I move this in a different direction. And I'll paint over a good portion of the charcoal throughout this painting, but just keeping that in mind, those shapes that I initially put down. So I did this because I wanted to push myself creatively by continually asking what if. I do that with a lot of paintings. I'm working on a painting, I have a direction I'm going, and I get that little question, what if I actually did this as opposed to the direction I'm going in? And I would say a lot of times, because I already have something set in my mind, I kind of push those questions aside. But when you have a canvas that you put up and you plan for a couple of days, it can be one day even, playing with that throughout the day. I did little short sessions. I think the longest I painted on this at any given time was about 20 minutes. But because I was using thicker paint, I would walk away and let it dry and come back to it. But also I wanted to come back to it and look at it with a little bit fresher eyes. I ended up putting this on my easel. I was working on it originally on a table. It started putting down some acrylic skins, some dried acrylic, peeled off my palette. One, to add a little bit of texture to it, but also the potential for me to have some extra colors in the background if I wanted that. So I just, again, at this point I thought, well, what if I put some of these acrylic skins down and maybe let some of those colors shine through? And so that's what I did. That's the direction I went in. So I had no expectations for the final piece. I just let go of fear and judgment and just allowed myself to play and explore. And as the abstract composition emerged, I tuned into moments that stood out to me. And then I asked myself, what if I added drips here? What if I scratched into that area, added layers to the top, went with a lighter value? Each what if kind of led me to experiment more. So over several sessions experimenting on the same canvas, new ideas just flowed freely. I rotated the piece, covered over areas, wiped away layers to reveal underpainting, and continually refined. By periodically walking away and then returning with fresh perspective, I saw the painting with new eyes. I saw colors and variations that maybe I liked and maybe I didn't like. One note is to also, when you do this, open a notebook and keep some notes, which could be ideas, a quick sketch for something you saw that maybe you want to explore later, or things that you learned, or something you want to try later when the painting is dry that you couldn't do currently. So at this point, this is one of those points where I did like how the background was looking, but I thought, well, what if I went a little lighter on this and tried to get that one central shape to give a little more contrast to that, and did that, then decided not. I put a little Prussian blue over that, and then decided to add some more yellow ochre and some white to that, and lighten it up that way. So having the freedom to play and change course really can produce exciting accidental effects. I also saw some things, like I said, that I didn't like, but it let me kind of explore that further. Something I'd put down, wasn't real fond of, and I thought, well, what if I did this? Would that make it look better? And I learned more by constantly questioning myself and kind of risking discoveries through trial and error. I learned more about things that I didn't like, oddly enough, than things that I did like. I think we typically know a lot of techniques and aspects of our paintings that we do like, but sometimes you'll find those areas that stand out you didn't like, and you kind of question, well, what if I did this? How can I maybe tweak this a little bit to make it better? Because you do things for a reason a lot of times, and you want to just see if you can explore that a little bit more. What was the reason? Why didn't you like it? What can you do to adjust? And many times I would think, well, I ruined that, and had to remind myself that was kind of the whole idea behind this. But practicing abstract painting intuitively over time, over a few sessions throughout a day or two, without judging the outcome, was incredibly liberating. My focus shifted from results to really just enjoying the process. It was so fun to just let loose and paint. And again, because I recorded this, I had that in my mind. Oh, I can go back and look at this. It was something I really liked there. If you're able to record it, great. You should give it a try and watch it back. If you're not, that's okay too. But this tutorial really encouraged me to work on silencing my inner critic and reconnect kind of with a beginner's mind. You're just having fun. You're just exploring and learning new things. And I hope by demonstrating how returning to a piece and continually asking what if, that can help you unlock greater creativity and inspire you. And I definitely would give this a try. Experimenting with no fixed results really lets your expression flow freely. And by embracing that uncertainty, that lack of expectation, that lack of a desired outcome, we kind of open ourselves up to growth. But at this point, I'm back to putting some charcoal down and playing with this a little bit more, and just seeing what I can do with the shapes, and finding that I want to adjust some of the colors a little bit in here. And if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, other tutorials and art challenges, feel free to subscribe. And again, let me know in the comments if you think this painting is done, or if I need to continue working on it. Like I said, I'm actually going to put this in a closet in my studio for a week. I put it on my calendar to revisit it in a week and pull it out and just look at it again and see what I think. If I like it, if I see areas that I want to change and adjust. One thought is, do I want to lighten the background more and have some of these shapes pop out, or does the background work with these shapes? And again, this is a very rough painting, but I kind of wanted it to be rough. I kind of want it to have a little bit of energy. I'm not sure it has a lot of energy at the moment, but I like these shapes. I like the color scheme, but I'm not sure it's done. Looking at it now, I'm kind of feeling like already I see some things that I might want to work on. But again, I'm going to put this one away and come back to it. And let me know if you try this and how it works out for you. It's a kind of a fun thing to have to paint a little bit and then walk away and do something else, focus on something else, and then come back to it again. And, I mean, I think we all do that with paintings we're working on, but it's fun to do this with something you're just playing with and experimenting with. Really opens things up and opens your mind up to those questions of what can I change? What do I want to do now? So I used a variety of colors in here. Obviously titanium white, yellow ochre. I had some cadmium yellow medium. I used bright green aqua. I used Prussian blue, light blue permanent, lime green. Also used one of my favorite colors, green gold, which is very, very much kind of an olive color. Used magenta, P-roll red, and I think there was one, Naples yellow was one that I used as well. And a variety of tools from let's see, I used a couple of different knives, some charcoal, making some marks at the beginning that really none of those have lasted through this. And I kind of expected they wouldn't, but I figured I'd kind of play with some marks at the beginning with the background. I used some water-soluble wax pastels, some watercolor pencils. I used a graphite stick at one point in there as well. A large silicone bowl scraper, catalyst wedge, and a color shaper as well. And there's probably other things that I use. One thing I did use was a blending stump for the charcoal to try and move the charcoal a little bit. I did that primarily at the beginning when I put the charcoal down. But if you don't have those, don't use those, and you like to use draw and play with charcoal, those are great tools. Very inexpensive and just a great way to play with some shading with drawing and charcoal. I'll put a link in the description for the ones that I use. We're coming up. This is about the end. I'll show you some different orientations here with the final painting. But let me know what you think. Is this done? Should I keep working on it? And if there's an orientation that you favor over the other. And here are the final paintings. different orientations. So thanks for watching, and keep on painting.